So this is my 2019 Ford F-150 XLT. It is a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 with the 10-speed automatic, the 10R80. I bought this truck about 2 years ago with 145,000 miles on it as a 2019 in I think 2023. So a lot of miles got put on it in a short period of time. And in the 2 or so years that I've owned it, I've put a little bit under 30,000 miles on it, and it is now at around 175,000 miles. So like I said, I bought this truck about 2 years ago. It was pretty soon after I bought a house and I wanted a truck again. If you've seen my old videos, I used to have a Tacoma that I did a build on, and I really wanted to get into a truck again because all I had at the time was an Alfa Romeo, and going to make Home Depot trips in an Alfa Romeo just wasn't fun. It wasn't feasible, and overall I just wanted to get back into a truck. So at the time when I was looking at trucks, I had just bought a house and was actually saving up for a wedding, so I didn't really want to buy something brand new, super expensive, like a $50,000-$60,000 truck, because I didn't want to deal with the payment. And so I wanted to buy a truck in the $20,000 to $25,000 range, and at the time, the way the market was, I kind of had to make some sacrifices, and in this case it was the mileage. So like I said, it was a 2019 with 145,000 miles on it, give or take, when I bought it, and this was a couple years ago, 2023, and I bought it for $24,000. So just to name a few things that I really like about this truck, as I mentioned, it's super comfortable. When I bought it, I actually intended to not be driving it that much and only kind of have it for around the house, and eventually I wanted to buy a boat, and so I would be towing that and whatnot. But I really didn't plan to take this on many long trips or anything like that. However, the first trip that I ended up taking this on, I ended up really liking it. It was super comfortable, fit everything that we needed, obviously, and having a dog, it was just really comfortable on the road trips. And the gas mileage on it is pretty great. I get around 23 to 24 on the highway, and around town I have 2-lane highways that are all around 55 miles an hour, and I'll get typically around 21, 22 miles per gallon around town. So that said, I ended up putting a lot of miles on this. I think I did around 20,000 or slightly over in the first year, and it kind of got to the point that I was driving it so much that I wanted to get rid of the Alfa Romeo that we were no longer really using for road trips. My wife was just driving it to work, so I ended up trading that in and getting a 2021 Ford Explorer. So we do most, if not all, of our road trips with that now, and this only gets the drive time to the boat ramp and back, which is about an hour and a half both ways for me. Alright, so a couple of things that I don't like about this truck. One of them can be very easily solved, and I will solve it, but the two things are the floor mats, I'm not a huge fan of, and the seats themselves. So as far as the floor mats, they're just the Ford all-terrain, rugged, whatever. They just don't fit very well. They don't cover a lot. In every other vehicle I've owned, I've had some version of a Husky floor liner. So I'll probably go ahead and switch these out at some point. And then as far as the seats, comfort-wise, they're fine. They're good. No complaints there. But I definitely do not like how easily stained they are. Like, I don't know if it's just because they're lighter gray or what, but I've never had seats that get this stained. Like literally one drop of coffee, or when we're sitting in the chairs wet from the beach or going on the boat with the salt water, it makes stains on them every single time. So that's probably going to lead me to want to do some type of seat covers. I'm definitely not going to go with any leather because I live in Florida. It's way too hot for that without the ventilated seats, but I might do some nice cloth seat covers if I can find them. Another thing I really like about this truck is the AC on it absolutely rips. It gets cold really, really fast, blows really hard, and obviously living in Florida when it's very hot out, that helps a ton. So I like to remote start the truck, get it going with the AC. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually prefer the physical gauges on the truck over the screen. Our Ford Explorer, the 2021 Ford Explorer Platinum, has the full screen for a dash, and I just don't like it as much. I like the physical gauges. I don't know if I'm just a little bit old school or what, but I do prefer them. And same goes for like the solid buttons. So I like having the volume knob, the tuning knob, and the different buttons for seek and whatnot, as well as the buttons for the AC controls. definitely prefer to have physical buttons for those. I really hate when you have to go through a screen hunting for the different settings when you should be able to just click it without really taking your eyes off the road and get your settings changed. As far as modifications, I haven't really done much. As you can see, I did like the little lettering on the back. I got some stock takeoffs from, I think, like a 21 or 22 XLT. Love these wheels, by the way. They look super good on this truck, in my opinion. So I think I might keep those for a while, but other than that, I did tints on the front windows, windshield. I live in Florida. It's hot. I did the best tints I could, and it helps tremendously, especially having the windshield done. Other than that, I haven't really done too much. The only other thing that I've done is I added remote start because, like I said, in Florida, that's super nice to have to get the truck going with the AC. But yeah, that's really all that I've done so far. Like I said, being a higher mileage truck that I wasn't really planning to drive too much, I didn't really want to do anything to it, kind of save that money for any repairs that I was going to need to do. These trucks, the 3.5 liter is notorious for having cam phaser issues, which is about a $6,000 job, and then the 10R80 transmission has slipping issues with the CDF drum and the valve body, and that can be like 10 grand or more even if you have to replace it or get it fixed. So I kind of wanted to save up money for those just in case I needed to. But so far, so good. I haven't had any issues at all with this truck. Actually, that's a lie. I've had one issue, which I'll talk about in just a second. Overall, nothing too serious, and it's been a great truck for me the last couple years and 30,000 miles or so that I put on it. So the one issue that I did have on this truck was I was getting weird leaking on my feet on the driver's side. Whenever it rained really hard or the truck sat after it rained and I started to drive, whenever I would hit the gas or the brakes too hard, water would come dumping out onto my feet, kind of like just drips. But over time it got worse and worse, and eventually that ended up being the windshield, which I addressed. But that's really been the only problem that I've had with this truck so far. Oh, I guess another issue that I had with the truck, not really a big issue, but something I'm going to address here shortly, and I'll talk about a little bit more at the end of the video, but the fog lamps have never worked. As soon as I got it, I had a fog light fault code, so they've just never worked for me. They have like moisture in them, they're cracked. So yeah, that's something else that I'm going to be addressing here soon, but like I said, nothing serious has happened so far. I also got to say, I'm honestly so happy that I ended up buying kind of like a not so quote-unquote nice and new truck, just because I can kind of beat on this without worrying too much about damaging it and, you know, ruining my investment or whatever you want to call it. It's not an investment. Don't ever think of a vehicle as one. But yeah, it's super nice to be able to just take it through the auto touch car wash, get it clean. I don't worry about it when we go fishing and we're getting in the truck all salty, sweaty, and gross with beach feet and whatnot. Overall, it's just really nice to throw bushes and branches and stuff in the back of the truck and not worrying about scratching it or denting it or anything like that. It already has its scratches and dents, and it'll get many more by the time I'm done with it, but it's really nice to not have to worry about that at all and just kind of use the truck for what it's made for. Probably my favorite thing about this truck is the 36-gallon tank on it. Coming from the Toyota Tacoma, I don't even know what the tank size was on that. I want to say like 16 or 18 or something like that. Especially once I lifted it and put wheels and tires on it, I was getting like maybe 250, maybe like 275, 300 a tank on that. But with this 36-gallon tank getting around, call it an average of like 22 miles per gallon, I get like a solid 600 to honestly close to like 800 miles on a single tank, and that's just incredible. I'm hardly ever at the gas station. I honestly couldn't tell you the last time I filled up the truck, especially since I'm not really driving it that much anymore. Like I said, only towing the boat really, and then just kind of like gym trips, grocery trips, Home Depot, Lowe's, that kind of thing. But yeah, having that giant gas tank, getting a ton of miles on a single tank, it's awesome, and I don't think I'll ever be able to go away from a truck or a vehicle that doesn't have that type of mileage now. So when I bought this truck, I told myself I was not going to build it, like I kind of alluded to earlier. Just wanted to save up for any of the unforeseen issues that I could run into with this, that I still might run into. However, lately I've gotten the itch to do a little bit of a build on this, so I'm starting a new series where I'm going to kind of just do like an OEM plus, just kind of like enhance the truck a little bit, So the first thing I'm starting with is lighting, and I partnered up with Morimoto for that. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of lighting on the truck to start, starting with the broken fog lights, and I think I have a few other things like license plate lights, bed lights, that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to get those videos out, and from there I'm going to do a few other aesthetic things as well as some functional things. These tires are probably good for another 20,000 or so, but I'll probably replace them with something a little bit more aggressive. Even though I don't do any off-roading, I think a slightly bigger tire and a slightly more aggressive tire in these giant wheel wells is going to look great. And I think I'll also do maybe a level or some type of suspension. Like I said, this truck has 175,000 miles on it, so it's probably due for a little bit of a suspension upgrade anyway. But yeah, guys, I'm excited to kind of get back into the YouTube thing, get back into creating videos, taking cool pictures, and just working on vehicles in general, because I haven't been able to do that much as of late. So I'm hoping to do a pretty cool OEM style build on this and kind of maintain the current aesthetics of the truck, because I really love the way this truck looks. But I think there are some enhancements that could be made, and we're going to go ahead and do them. So make sure to hit the subscribe button if that's something you guys are interested in. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.